Oh, sorry, Dave. Yeah, sorry. Danger.
I wanted to talk to you about Archie Gray. There's a little clip, you probably haven't had time to see it, but after the game he's with Fraser. I don't know if you've seen it, but he says, "It's my fault, mate." I mean,
did he say mate?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. I'm having an influence then. Good stuff. There you go. Yeah.
I mean, seriously though, what was that, an 18-year-old kid?
Yeah, it's great.
What does that say about him?
Yeah, fantastic, and it's a sort of testament to him, but also to what we're trying to build here. That guys are not, they're taking a collective approach to things. And Archie's probably thinking in that moment, I could have made a better decision, which would have helped Fraser. I'm sure Fraser said, no, mate, I should have handled it better myself. But I think it's part of our growth. As I keep saying, we'll eventually get out of this and hit some smoother waters. But the way the guys are dealing with it at the moment, in terms of accountability, responsibility, no one's, there's no sort of factions or people splintering off and saying, this is a difficult time, I'm going to sort of save myself here. And, everyone's kind of, we had the injured lads in the dressing room before the game, they're out on the pitch after this. So everyone's really invested in it. And I think that's an important part of how you deal with adversity, growth. And if you've got an 18-year-old who's, standing out there and literally telling a man literally twice his age, that I'll take responsibility. I think it's great signs for us.
Was he talking about the second goal, just to be clear, do you think?
No idea, I haven't seen the clip, mate, but...
I mean, he played the back passes technically for both goals.
Yeah. I'm not sure, probably want to ask Archie about, but I think you would have found a few of the boys kind of had similar sentiments that they could have handled that situation better in terms of, I think... Look, I think the first goal can happen, Xerxes was actually in the box pressing when he shoot. Actually what he did was illegal, but anyway, we'll let that run because there was no VAR last night and that was my decision, so I'm happy with that. I think we should have waited for him to clear the box before we start playing because then he presses from inside the box. So we could have handled that situation a little bit better, just some calmness. But then when that happens, I think us going back to Fraser a couple of times probably wasn't the right decision. But again, Fraser could have handled that better by just, telling the boys that, it's about ownership and responsibility in that area. So, we've got a free kick, Biss goes back, Archie goes back, do we need to go back in that situation? Probably not. So that's what I mean in terms of decision making. It's just our decisions in that moment, we probably weren't as clear-headed as we should be.
Just one quick bit of housekeeping. Van der Ven, Romero, Davis.
Look, Ben's first cab off the rank, so we're kind of hoping, next week at some point he'll join in full training, which will give him a chance. As I said, with Romero and Mickey, it'll be in the new year when, again, as they get close, I'll probably give a bit of timeline for that.
Hi, Ange. I remember a week or so ago there was some talk and question about the transfer policy at Tottenham in terms of signing younger players.
Yeah.
Dom Solanke, 27, 60 odd million on him. Is he an example? He's doing really well. Is he an example that the club have been doing things to try and win now, and it's not all just about tomorrow and 10 years?
Yeah, the reality is, mate, it's a balance of both. Like, we're rebuilding a team. That's quite evident. I think anyone who hasn't seen the amount of turnover we've had now, how you go about that. Now, are we going to be a club that's going to spend £1 billion to buy ready-made players? No, we're not. There are very few of those. There are the ones that can do it, but we're not one of them. So that's the reality. So then you've got to say, okay, where's your spend going to go? Now, I was really keen on getting Dom in because I knew he'd make us better from day one, absolutely, and he has. He's been outstanding for us. But, when you're paying for ready-made players, there's a premium to it, How we allocated the rest of that money was the kind of decision we had to make. Do we go for somebody ready-made? Now, we could have maybe gone somebody for ready-made, but I reckon it would be one of those stories where I'll be 70 years old and I'll be saying, you know what, we could have signed Archie Gray at 18, but I kind of went, and Archie Gray ends up being, the player we know he's going to be. And so you go, you know what, actually, okay, we probably need another experienced player, but I don't think we can pass up on Archie. I think this is a unique opportunity, unique space for us to get a really talented 18-year-olds, because anyone who's talented at 18 is going to have competition around them. So, you kind of have to make that decision. I thought it was the best decision for the club at the time. I think it will be the best decision that the club's made in the longer term. But when you have finite resources, that does affect other decisions you make. So I think it's a balance of both. I think moving forward, we probably need to err in getting a little bit more experience just to help the group, because we've got very few at that kind of sweet spot in terms of age. A lot of our players are at that younger level, and we want to give Archie and Lucas and Pape Sarr and Destiny and all these guys who are in their sort of teens or early 20s the opportunity to keep growing. Is we need to make sure we've got quality around them. So, you know, how you allocate sort of the next resources it may shift a little bit. But like I said, I'd hate to be sitting here now and saying we had an opportunity to sign Archie Gray at 18 and we passed it up because of maybe we could have got in a player who maybe helps us short term for a couple of years, but ultimately we would have missed out on a hugely talented player.
On the flip side though, would Dom's age ever have counted against him when you were talking about signing?
Yeah, there's discussions. I think as a club house, when we're allocating such a big resource to, there's always those discussions that are had, because you can't get that one wrong. Because if you invest heavily on a player who you need to make an impact, if you get that one wrong, that has massive ramifications, not just for one window, but subsequent windows. Because I think if you get a young one wrong, there's a bit of latitude there in terms of moving forward, but you need to get it right. So we had a lot of discussion around it, but Johan was, you know, really big on Dom, and, you know, I was really big on him. We'd had guys like Matty Wells who'd worked with him, just character-wise, it just ticked every box. It was a big decision for us, but I was really confident it was the right one.
A different subject, there's a fan protest this weekend. I don't know how much you're aware of that. Does that concern you about any impact it might have? There are very few cases of clubs being successful with the background of protests going on. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, look, you know, I've said before, I think the path to success is a lot smoother when everyone's aligned, absolutely. When there is discourse, invariably it affects, the way forward. But at the same time, we live in a world where people are, allowed to express their feelings. We've just got to make sure on Sunday that the things we can control, particularly me, in terms of the football department, is we go out there against a top side and put on a performance where our fans, are focused on what's happening on the field. We need them on Sunday. I thought they were great last night with the noise they made. They helped us through it. There was a good energy in the stadium. We're going to need that on Sunday for sure. So hopefully that becomes kind of the main talking point out of it.
John. Arnie Slot, Honor Slot, has said that he likes your football so much that he hopes you actually win something. Attacking football works, and it's good for football in general. Are you happy to be an evangelist for the entire game?
Oh, no, I don't think I'm an evangelist for the entire game. I'm just to quote Monty Python, I'm just a naughty little boy.
That's not
what did I say that for? I think, like I said, it's what I love about football. There's got to be differences. There's got to be people who are prepared to do things a little bit different, and I think that's what we love about our game, that there is that variety, and that allows opinion, that allows, emotion to come into it. I'd hate to think, though, that people think I'm just sort of some, showman or something. I want to win. That's still the core of my being. I hate losing, and I want to win. I want to be successful, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. So I'm so driven by that on a daily basis. I've been my whole career. But I feel if I can win and play in this manner, it makes an impact. And I've said before, we all want something, a little bit of a footprint that we make during our journeys, and I want that to be my footprint. That I was successful, we won, but I did it, maybe a little bit of a different way, which I think stays in people's consciousness longer than just kind of doing things normally. Now, when we're not there yet, and we're, you know, some will say we're a long way away from it, and whether we ever get there, who knows? But I'm just determined to, like I said, bring success to this football club, win things, and do it in a manner that hopefully makes an impact.
You've been very clear about your philosophy, but you say that certain things have been said about you have been offensive, which has overstepped the mark.
I said that. I think that's for another time. Like I said, it's not the first time in my career, but I guess you kind of feel that, 26 years of hard graft should get you a little bit of more respect. And I'm not the only one. I've seen it happen to other managers. I saw it happen to Unai when he was here. Saw it happen to Nuno when he was here. I think I said last week, I think we've crossed the Rubicon in terms of how we treat people sometimes, and I get that not everyone will be a fan of the way I do things, and even the way I play, and people will have different opinions. I think that's, like I said, that's normal, that's healthy, but some of it's been pretty dismissive, but that's okay.
You mentioned Gladiator. Do you see yourself as a bit of a Maximus character? That's what he wants in the end.
Love the movie, love Russell Crowe. I haven't seen the new one yet, so great story. Yeah, that's all I'll say on that, mate. I've already got myself into trouble with Monty Python, so we'll leave it there.
Do you think you're giving Spurs fans what they want? Because they've just been through a spell where they've had a series of managers playing very negative football. You play football to the club's not so giving them goals, entertainment, obviously you're defending your style. Do you think you're giving Spurs fans?
Again, that's not for me to judge. I think, that's for the supporters to kind of measure. But when I came in, I made it clear, and I think the club knew what I was about. I wasn't going to come in and do anything different than what I'm doing, because I've done that for 26 years. And my impression is it's what the club wanted. Of course, they want to win things, but they want to win. Every club wants to win things, but they wanted their team to play a certain way. I was excited by that, and that's what I'm trying to deliver. And whether the supporters kind of understand that or appreciate that as a whole, I'm not sure. That's up to them. But I get the sense that the Spurs supporters I have sort of any contact with, in terms of out and about, this is what they want. They want to win, and they definitely want to win, but they want their team to be playing sort of in this manner, or this kind of intent.
Does the criticism surprise you a little bit? Should we be embracing the chaos? This is what we want.
Yeah, but it's a bit of human nature. It's a bit of how we are these days. I don't think we know what we want. We get something, and then we want something more, and we want something more, and then that doesn't satisfy, so we want something else. And it's like, I'm a lot simpler. I just think, whatever makes you happy, just hold on to it, cherish it, and kind of embrace it. There doesn't have to be more. It's just appreciate something for what it is. But we've all got people in our lives like that. It was described to me. We've all got that uncle that even on the best day says, but it's raining outside, even though we've just won the lottery. We've had to share it with someone because two people won it. So it just depends on your outlook on life, mate. How many of those you got?
Will it always be that way until you want something in your life, been successful in your life? It's just always.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. I think that you just have to understand that. And some of it's just sort of anxiety, because people go, oh, this is what I want, but I also want to win. And if it doesn't look like we're winning, do I really want this? And until you get there, there's always going to be that little bit of uncertainty.